Hi everybody, it's the Ruthless Jobber here. Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 53 of A Broken Heart. It's our WCW late 90s save, and we are in November now. It's Monday the 2nd. It's time for Nitro. We kick off with a couple of pre-show matches. Psychotic take on Right and Dandy. It's a tag team match. Meh. Decent pre-show match. Psychotic got the win in 11 minutes 45 when Psychosis pinned El Dandy. And Psychosis was head and shoulders above everyone else in terms of in-ring work. 53 wrestling, 39 crowd, 59 overall. Do you know what? That's actually not as bad as I thought it might be. I was dreading something in the 30s there. Second pre-show match, Joe E. Legend takes on Rob Van Dam. Wanted to give the win to Rob Van Dam here, and he gets it in 11 minutes 57 by a pinfall with a Van Daminator. 50 wrestling, 36 crowd, 59 for the segment. And then Bam Bam Bigelow takes on Roddy Piper. Our kind of, we always have at least one sort of big-ish pre-show match, and we got fantastic heat and good wrestling. Bam Bam Bigelow got the win in 14 minutes 56 by pinfall with a military press slam. 68 wrestling rating, the crowd got us a 72, and overall here, 73. Let's head into the main show. The show kicks off with Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, in the ring, and he is cutting a promo, and he's actually mentioning Bret Hart. He's saying he was wrong about Bret Hart. He has a newfound respect for the man after he faced him in the ring, and Bret is the new champion, of course, beating Hogan. I've really got to say, he beat me fair and square. He was good. He knew what he was doing. And then the outsiders come out, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. So we have the kind of the main players of the NWO in the ring together. But you can see Hall and Nash were a little bit unhappy. This is kind of like how it went with Hogan at WrestleMania 18, where he was celebrating with The Rock, or shook The Rock's hand, and then the outsiders came out and were like, "What are you doing?" So that's the same sort of thing. What are you doing, praising Bret Hart? What's going on here? And they grabbed mics, and how can you say all these good things about Bret? I'm sure there was something in that match that wasn't quite right. Did he cheat in any way? He must have cheated. There's no way. I can't believe you're saying all these good things about Bret Hart. Bret Hart comes out and he says, "I'm not going to come out here to defend myself, but I'm going to defend Hogan. Hogan is a legend of this business, and if he knows that he's had a good match, if he says he's had a good match, then he knows he's had a good match." And obviously, then we get a bit of a brawl. The outsiders start attacking Bret, and then Hogan attacks the outsiders. Those of you that are eagle-eyed will probably notice somewhere along the line I probably made a mistake with blurring things out. Hogan turns face. We get an 82 rating for this segment. So let's handle the change now. We did go a little bit too far. 31 segments this is built up for, and we were starting to get the crowd are getting bored of the possible turn. So how this is going to go down, I don't know. Yes, we do want to turn him, and he gets a gimmick change as well. So we get the new gimmick gets great, and there's a couple of bonuses there for psychology and star quality. And the turn has been foreshadowed for so long that the fans had actually grown bored of the whole saga, and that affected the surprise of the turn. Wow. I obviously just activated the turn way too early. 31 segments. It's probably about a good 3 months that. You live and you learn. But the turn went pretty well. Okay. So yeah, 82 for this segment. We now have a face Hollywood Hogan. Buff Bagwell takes on Jim Duggan in the opening match. Wanted to give Buff Bagwell a match, wanted to give him a win. I'm sort of really starting to look at our mid-card now. It's struggling a little bit. Not struggling in terms of, we've got some good players there, but I'm struggling to find decent opponents for our top guys. If they're going to be facing mid-card guys, nearly everyone's been through everyone. So I'm just trying to kind of mix it up a little bit and just sort of do some stuff. And this was a very short match, actually. Buff Bagwell got the win in 4 minutes 40 by pinfall with a fast roll-up. 48 wrestling rating, 50 crowd, and we've got an overall of 45. We've got a taped video recap here. It's a feud recap between Booker T and Chris Jericho. Very disappointed with the rating of 67. The storyline has lost heat. Why is it so low? Dirt sheet. Got a bonus from the road agent work. So no penalty. Why was it so low then? Interesting. Okay. Don't know why. 67. Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton take on Hammer and Lodi. You know the score. Token tag team match. Decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton got the win in 6 minutes 3 seconds. Arn Anderson pinned Hammer with a spinning spine buster. Lodi was the weak link. 44 for the wrestling, 36 crowd, 55 overall. Then we've got Scott Hall coming out. He's on his own and he cuts a promo on Bret. How dare Bret get involved? That was an NWO thing we were doing there. We were trying to bring Hogan back to the right side. We were trying to get these thoughts out of his head. And then Bret comes out, and obviously there's a bit of an argument that ensues. And then Scott Hall says, listen, there's one thing you need to understand. You are not in the same league as Hogan. You're not even in the same league as me. I'm going to challenge you right now for that belt. And Bret Hart says, hey, whenever you want. And Randy Savage comes out, obviously the current kind of boss of WCW, if you like. And he says, this match is a go. Tonight's main event, Bret Hart will defend his new WCW World Championship against Scott Hall. This gets an 86. Pleased with that. Chris Benoit takes on Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is still unimportant, and Chris Benoit, I think he's well known. He might just be recognisable, but we took a risk here. We kept Benoit strong, but we gave the win to Kurt Angle. This just goes to show how quickly I want to get him over, and how dedicated I am. Committed is the right word. How committed I am to really making him strong. So we get a decent match. Kurt Angle got the win in 9 minutes 58 by submission with an ankle lock. But there was interference from Rick Rude. Hey, he's a heel. There's got to be some sort of cheating somewhere. 59 wrestling, disappointed with that. 43 crowd. Overall 64. I mean, it looks quite low, but as I say, Kurt Angle's unimportant. And this is what, his fifth match with us? Chris Benoit, I think he's well known, but maybe recognisable. I mean, to be honest, I'm not too disgruntled by that. Would have liked to have seen the wrestling rating be a bit higher, though. A taped angle with the Dudley Boys, just a self-promo. So we use, when I do taped angles, I always use the outside broadcast thing within the booking, because TEW, it's a good thing to have a varied types of angles. So you have in-ring, backstage, outside broadcast. I like to vary them up for the game's sake, really. 48, a little bit disappointing, but I mean, yeah, these guys aren't particularly over just yet. Gene Okerlund interviews Goldberg, and he cuts a promo on Bam Bam Bigelow and Sid Vicious, two guys that he's sort of feuding with at the moment, or at least they're part of the Goldberg streak storyline. And then Bam Bam Bigelow comes out and attacks Goldberg from behind. This was just to, again, vary up the angle a little bit. So we start off with an interview, then have a fight segment, and then we actually had Goldberg do a stunt bump. And this got a rating of 89, so very pleased with that. Yeah, I mean, I've just put here that Bigelow puts Goldberg through a car windscreen. So obviously the fight goes towards backstage, and yeah, puts him through a car windscreen. I think those of you in the States call it a windshield, but it's basically, yes, the front window of a car. Puts him through it, and yeah, stunt bump. 89 overall for this angle. Pleased with that one. I'm not sure why the storyline didn't advance, but okay. And then we've got the Giant taking on Sid Vicious. Fantastic heat, decent wrestling. Sid Vicious got the win in 13 minutes 6 seconds by pinfall after using a foreign object. We just, as I say, we're kind of struggling with the main guys getting matches against mid-carders. So in an ideal world, I probably wouldn't have had this match. But we are also I'm trying to look after Sid a little bit now. Maybe see how far we can push him. I know we've got loads of main eventers already, but yeah, I just kind of like the idea of doing something a little bit different with Sid and just maybe pushing him a little bit more. It does get the win here. This was a storyline match, and we get a 59 wrestling rating, 74 for the crowd, but 58 overall. Yeah, the wrestling ratings obviously dinged it quite a lot. And then we've got a Buff Bagwell promo on Diamond Dallas Page. They are feuding at the moment. Again, just get Bagwell. I nearly did it again. Baff Bagwell. Let's get things right. We had Buff Bagwell cutting a promo on Diamond Dallas Page. Rating of 62, but the storyline lost heat. Anthony Durant teams with Rick Steiner to take on Totally Perfect. Another token tag team match, but we are using our sort of biggest tag team at the moment, Lex Luger and Kurt Hennig. This was a wild brawl, had good heat and decent wrestling. Totally Perfect got the win in 5 minutes 48. Lex Luger pinned Rick Steiner with a great solution. 61 wrestling, 56 crowd, and overall we get a 62. Yeah, not the best in the world, but Luger and Hennig still putting on a great performance. We then got Sting cutting a self-promo. He is backstage with Gorilla Monsoon. Again, do an angle backstage. Gorilla Monsoon maybe is in the studio where we sort of seen him before. And Sting's just contemplating his future. And he sort of said, I've done it all in this business. I've just come out of a battle with the Latino World Order. And I've kind of done it all in this business. And I don't know where the Stinger's going to go next. What I'm thinking here, I don't know what to do with Sting next. I'm kind of looking at the storylines we've got, and there's no one really for him to feud with until you get to like recognizable level. I mean, Eddie Guerrero is the only one, and I thought he just had that feud with the Latino World Order. So I'm struggling a little bit. Maybe I could do something with Bam Bam and Sid, maybe take them out of the Goldberg streak for a little bit. But I don't want to lose anything on that storyline either. So, yeah, not quite sure what I'm going to do with Sting yet. He'll be around. He'll have matches. I don't want him to become irrelevant. But yeah, just not quite sure yet kind of what to do with him. 79 for this angle, though. Pretty good. Big Van Vader takes on Diamond Dallas Page. I thought I might get a half-decent score for this, but maybe I was expecting something mid to late 60s. So 72, pleased with that. We had fantastic heat and great wrestling. Big Van Vader defeated Diamond Dallas Page in 8 minutes 49 by pinfall with a Vader bomb. I've just I've just watched, or I've just seen some comments that a couple of you guys have put up from a video way back, and you've all predicted basically that Big Van Vader is the guy I signed. Now I can't remember whether I messed up and maybe you saw something on screen you shouldn't have done. But yeah, you got it. I mean, by the time you guys see this, that'll be weeks ago. You might have even forgotten. But yeah, well done, guys. Yeah, he gets the win here. This was a steal the show match, actually. So I wasn't sure whether I was taking a risk there because I didn't know whether they could go. Yeah, pleased with that though. 73 wrestling, 74 crowd, and 72 for the segment. Diamond Dallas Page benefited from having a hot new move. And then backstage, we've got Hollywood Hogan, and he sees Kevin Nash and he sees Scott Hall, and he kind of just approaches Scott Hall, really, and he just says, just so you know, I'm going to be ringside for your title match against Bret Hart. And he kind of looks at Kevin Nash and he says, because Nash, I know you will be. So it's kind of like, I know what your game is, and you're not going to beat Bret by any interference. Rating of 75. So yeah, we've got a storyline here. New friends, old enemies, I've called it. But it's Hogan and Hart against the Outsiders. Yeah, a bit of green there as well. All good. The match gets a 77. I'm pleased with that. But when I see the wrestling rating of 85 and the crowd rating of 86, boy, do I wish that was a little bit higher now then. But we did get an exceptional match. Bret Hart defeated Scott Hall in 14 minutes 39 when Scott Hall was counted out after being attacked by Kevin Nash. Obviously, that was a complete accident. I thought I put botched. I'm going to have to check it. I thought I put botched, but let's say, yeah, it was a botched attack. During the match, we also saw Kevin Nash come in and distract Bret Hart, and Hollywood Hogan distracted Hall just to kind of even up the numbers. Defense number 1 of the title for Bret Hart. Yeah, let's just have a quick look at our road agent notes. Accidentally hit by Kevin Nash. Yes, I thought I did. So that makes sense now. Yeah, I didn't just have Kevin Nash turn on Scott Hall. Post-match, you guessed it, a bit of a brawl. It's not really so much of a brawl. We've got Hogan and Bret. They fend off an attack from the Outsiders. So this was a two-part angle. Part 1 is fending off the attack. And then part 2, they're celebrating together. So we've got the Hogan doing his stuff and Bret just kind of like, holding the belt aloft and what have you. As we close out the show, 78 for this one. Happy with this. Let's see what we get overall. 79. Yeah, another good rating, increasing our popularity in 15 regions. As long as we're not losing, as long as we don't lose any any pop in certainly in the States. I'm kind of pleased. So yeah, good stuff. I'm happy with that one. Financial report, we made just over 300,000, and let's have a look at the popularity then. Yeah, gone up in a few areas. Stable in the States, would really like to get that a bit higher. I'm hoping Bret as champion can do that. He's going to be obviously be in our main events now. Is he the right guy? I don't know. He can certainly put on great matches. Post show then, we've got a couple of emails. Terry Funk High by ECW, and yeah, figures for Nitro. Okay, I don't really show a lot backstage. There's not really much to show really. Let's have a quick look at the roster. Actually, it'd be interesting to see where Kurt Angle sits now, but let's just have a quick look at the top. We have got so many. I know I say this every week. So many major stars now. Okay, yeah, Kurt Angle he has moved up to recognisable, so already on the next rung. Now, why that's important is that now he can have plenty of matches against unimportant guys, and we won't get the penalty of two jobbers working together. So that's why I always find it's important for anyone in the unimportant category that I want to push. As soon as it gets recognisable, I'm happy. That's the same with Steven Regal. I've been saying all along. I don't think it's going to happen for him. I've kind of almost given up. But yeah, it's really important. The unimportant people. I mean, I should be looking at Lance Storm now, and I should be looking at, let's give him a couple of wins. I mean, that was a big win for Kurt Angle, and it looks like Benoit is well known. So no, he's not. He's recognisable. So okay, doesn't matter though. Possibly he was well known before that match, but no, I'm pretty sure he's recognisable. But still, that's a lot of pop for Kurt Angle. In fact, let's go the whole hog and look at his popularity. So it's currently sitting, 45, highest of 45, but 39 and 40 really. Track the progress. Yeah, look at that. Massive jump. Massive jump. Okay, that's the end of that episode, I think. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please give a like and subscribe. Thank you, everybody who watches my videos and gives a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Join me for the next one. We are building now to WCW Mayhem. Next Nitro, we will probably start kind of announcing the first few matches. I do have something different for Mayhem. Look out for that. Take care of yourselves, everybody. See you again soon. Goodbye.